Stand by. This is Whitetail Brief, tactical deer hunting insights in 20 minutes or less.
What's up, everyone? I'm your host, Aaron Hepler. Let's cut the fluff, hit the tactics, and get you closer to your next whitetail. All right. Welcome back to the InCamp Whitetail Brief. I am on the line with the legendary. You don't know he's legendary because he don't got social media. He's incognito, Mr. Dave Normand. Norman. What am I saying? Normand.
Good enough for me.
What's
Thanks
up, dude?
thanks for having me on there.
Listen, we've been bird hunting together for the last 2 weeks and having a great time with the dogs because we are both tagged out. Maybe not from does, but we are tagged out from the bucks in Pennsylvania. We're going to talk about Dave's deer in a little bit, but what I really need to get to know is some Dave deer strategy, and you guys need to know it because Dave is a big deer killer and you don't know it. So, dude, the one thing I asked you, we started recording this a little bit. Briefly, why don't you tell me what your favorite, if you were to pick a week to take off, what week are you picking for archery hunting whitetails in Pennsylvania?
Probably a week that falls within the 25th through Halloween.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm totally with you there, man. So what we need to tell the listeners is if you had a tag right now, what is your focus? Your number one main focus. We're going to talk about a couple things, but what's your number one main focus?
Does 100%. Find the does.
And what's your plan of attack? So we're talking 2025 here. So this is going to come out really on the last day of archery season. So, we're actually going to get ready to kind of, some of the special regs areas are still open. So you have opportunity to hunt late November. Are you thinking they're going to be like a secondary rut happening around that time? Or is there still kind of going to be some cruising going on in special regs?
So I think from like that 20th right through Thanksgiving is another really good time to hunt because you have a thing called like homecoming bucks, and usually in the beginning of the rut or the tail end of the rut, those mature bucks will go back to where they usually summered, and they'll look for those like last does. So, um, that 20th right through Thanksgiving could be a really good time to just sit downwind of doe bedding areas and just camp because sooner or later a big one's going to come through. It's going to happen. They're going to look for those last does, and then that falls right into like for PA for the gun season. Like I think when that gun season opens up, right around that 26th, 27th time frame, like you still going to get some tail end rutting activity. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've seen some rutting activity on the opener of rifle. I killed my biggest buck that way.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, 100%. Like it's gonna, they say what, 30 days. So like if a doe goes into heat on the third, right around, of November, right around the 3rd of December, she possibly gonna pop again. So, I would say from now till January, hunt doe groups if you can, doe bedding, because there's always gonna be some form of rutting activity. Just the extent and the height of it's just gonna be a little bit slower. Yeah.
So, I guess if we're going to talk a little bit about, yeah, we can talk about secondary rut, but if we're talking does, okay, everybody always says, okay, focus on does for the rut, for that tail end, especially when we're coming into areas where bucks are still not done, but the does are kind of wrapping things up, and we're talking about secondary rut. When we say hunt does, what are you doing specifically to find those doe bedding areas and doe bedding groups? Are you just kind of looking at the cover and being like, oh, that looks like doe bedding? Or what specifically are you looking for to tell you this is a doe spot where I can find bucks cruising to find these does?
Yeah, I mean, if depending on where you're at or in the state, um, like those are going to be usually like to be close to food or any type of browse. So anything that still somewhat has some type of browse, green browse, like Greenbrier, if it's still holding, is a good place.
Uh-huh.
A thicket with Greenbrier, like there's a good chance does are gonna be bedding somewhere in that area. And then also, if you have the time, find some thick stuff and doing like an observation sit and just see if you could see does. And one trick you could tell too with a doe is if her tarsal glands are still pretty stained,
Uh-huh.
that means she wasn't bred yet.
Okay.
So once they get bred, their tarsal glands start to not be as
Light
stained. So
lighten
if
up.
you could observe some does, you could tell. But finding them, yeah, I mean, thick stuff, anywhere you could find, thick stuff that's close to food. It's a key, whether that be, down here, like Greenbrier is really good, where I'm at. But if I go up towards like the Poconos area, like Red Acorns
Uh-huh.
would be to find thick stuff near like a south facing Acorn slope would be probably where I would start.
Okay. So, what advice would you have for somebody who's kind of maybe they're out bear hunting because our bear season's coming up. Maybe they're out bear hunting and hoping to do a little bit of scouting for the following week. What is some advice that you could give them to find a good, solid opening day rifle spot?
Um, I think once you start getting into like that time frame, like the woods is already going to start to be a little pressured,
Uh-huh.
from the archer season. Then once you get bear drives, because most people bear drive, these deer are going to go to places, they're going to feel it, and they're going to go to places that you don't really think they're going to go. So I would start with like, see if you can find some red oaks on some very steep terrain and go hit that steep. I mean, steep, like stuff that you probably don't want to walk up. Um, and then see if you can find like a bench on that steep terrain because those deer they'll hold tight
Yeah.
on that bench on that steep terrain. I would start there, and then it can never be too thick. Uh, it's always got to be like they deer will need cover. So if you can focus on something that's either steep or really thick where you don't really want to go through, I would advise you to maybe just do it and
Uh-huh.
the chances are it's going to pay off. That's probably what I would give advice to.
So, Pennsylvania, Penn State put out a study this year talking about deer movement and how it is, especially does, how they are moving significantly less than they have pretty much since 2013. What's your take on that?
Um,
Did you notice it where you are?
You know, I mean, maybe a little bit. I think that those are moving less. It could be too possibly because there may be too many of them, and the food sources that they have is they're kind of just sticking to that while they can, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. So
Yep.
I could definitely see that being an issue. I think there's way too many does. I mean, let's be real. As everybody doesn't want to talk about it, but we hunt for the horns. We don't hunt for the meat. I mean, if we want meat, we're going to shoot a doe. But I think a lot of people don't want to jeopardize blowing up their spot to shoot a doe before they shoot a buck.
Uh-huh.
I'm guilty of that a lot of times. But so I think the deer definitely do. The does definitely. I think with how many there are, I think they find areas that have food and try and stick to that area until they have to look elsewhere.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we never really go to the woods, and I don't know about you. I know I do this. I have gone to an area and be like, well, this could be a good doe spot. But rarely do I ever specifically go out scouting to look for a doe spot
Hmm.
where I feel comfortable shooting one early, or where I say, hey, there's a chance a buck could come through here early on in archery season, but probably not. So I think looking forward to we're going to get into postseason scouting as soon as January hits. Everybody's going to be hitting the wood, late season, looking for stuff and what happened and through the season. I would encourage people to say hey, because as soon as shed season starts and postseason scouting starts and summer scouting starts, nobody is looking for the best doe spot. They are automatically, I don't know about you, we're automatically looking for buck sign and where a buck might bed and all this stuff. I'd encourage people to go and find a burner spot where they can shoot a doe in the first week of October, because your likelihood of killing a buck then isn't that great. And if it is, good for you. However, how many times do we look at a buck in the early October if it's not like a giant and be like, well, then I'm done for the rest of the season? Take
Yeah,
that time and shoot a doe, you know?
yeah, 100%. And one thing you could do too is like, uh, I mean, how many times have you been out there? You find buck sign, or you jump up. Say you jump a buck, you mark it, right.
Uh-huh.
Um, Mark the does,
Uh-huh.
because one, it gives you a spot like, oh, I could always sneak in here and get a doe early and not really disrupt anything. Also, it gives you a little intel like, oh, I just jumped 5 does bedding in this area. Now I have it for my play, in that October 25th to 30th as well, if I
Uh-huh.
want to check it. Um, because those will bed pretty consistently for the most part. I mean, they will
Uh-huh.
change, but for what I see, it's always good just to mark everything. Just more knowledge is more power.
Yeah. Yeah. And then feel free to clear some of your waypoints after 5 or 10 years.
Oh,
Because I got like
30.
8,000 that I can't even see my map.
I know it gets you. Yeah, you mark everything, and then it's like, oh man, I know.
Yeah.
That's why you just gotta have like three different
So,
apps.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So Dave and I are going to be doing some postseason scouting together in some of the areas we've been bird hunting, because I mean, we got a limit, 2-man limit the other day in about an hour and a half, and man, did we find some good deer sign. I do need to share some information about that place that I forgot about from scouting elsewhere in that area in the spring. So remind me to tell you about that.
Yeah,
So this is, we haven't gotten to share a whole lot of stories on the Whitetail Brief, and this is the moment. Dave killed an awesome buck. What date was that?
October 25th.
Yeah, there you go. And so I'm gonna invite you, dude. Tell that freaking story because I want to hear it.
Yeah. So October 25th, it was pretty chilly in the morning. I always get in early, and as I was walking in, I bumped a like a 4 pointer. He was bedded right under my sticks that I left. Like right at my tree, he was bedded. Bumped a 4 pointer. He ran off. Didn't really. I don't really think he knew what I was. And then yeah, first light, I had a doe that was. I don't think she was fully ready, but I had like four like year-and-a-half-year olds just harassing her for like the first 10 minutes of daylight, and then they had her like surrounded in this like thicket, 15 yards from me, and um, all of a sudden the little bucks just kind of just postured differently and were looking to the right, and here comes the mature 3.5-year-old 9 point, and he kind of stopped like 15 yards from the little bucks and kind of scraped his hoof and bull rushed him, and then turned and started to go back to the doe, and I just drew back 26-yard shot. Didn't stop him. Didn't really want to alert him. I just felt confident, and took off 30 yards and fell over. So it was 7:15. I looked down and I'm like, well, I was in the tree for, I don't know, 20 minutes of daylight. So it worked out good. I'm just thankful to be able to be out there and be able to do something, do this passion that I just enjoy so much. So
When you're on a hunt like that and it's hot and heavy, like what's going through your head? Are you getting the rush like everybody else gets, or you kind of put it off for a little bit? Or you what's Dave thinking?
I used to get kind of used to let it get to me. And get like that buck fever, like but I think since I changed my strategy of like hunting just really thick, where I can only see 20 yards. I think it happens so fast, it doesn't allow me to like overthink things.
Uh-huh.
I just kind of have to react, right? And
Uh-huh.
just kind of just muscle memory of like, the 1,000 arrows I shot the last year, just going over things and just um Yeah, it just kind of happened. Like last year when I shot that big one, I mean, it it happened so quick at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Like I didn't have time to react. And then this year I did. It was just like, all right, draw, settle pin, shoot. Uh,
Uh-huh.
so I think it's just I think when you can see him from a distance and you can see him and it takes that. I think it just builds up that anxiety for people.
Uh-huh.
But um, breathe, just breathe. It's only deer hunting, so
Yeah,
don't let
exactly.
it get you too much. Yeah.
So Dave, what are your plans moving forward for the rest of the season?
Ah, well, definitely gonna keep bird hunting. Uh, that's
Yes,
a
sir.
plus. Uh, definitely gonna keep doing that. Probably gonna go out and get some does. Definitely go out for rifle. It's just a tradition.
Uh-huh.
Probably won't do anything crazy. Probably just go hike mountains and try and get a doe or two. And then yeah, basically maybe do some predator hunting come, you know, January.
Yeah.
And then prepare for fatherhood, I guess. That's it.
So are you comfortable talking about that?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
So Dave is going to be the recipient of twins. You don't know what they are yet, right?
No, I should know next week.
Oh man.
So but yeah,
So
so
so we're
yeah.
really excited. We're excited for Dave. Dave's selling all his stuff, so uh
Yeah. Yeah.
so so hit me up if you're like, "Hey, what's Dave got? What's
Yeah,
Dave got for sale?"
I got tons of pins. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah. uh Dude, thanks for coming on. This has been InCamp Whitetail Brief. We talked about some late rut hunting strategy, moving into rifle season. We talked Dave's story. Thanks for listening. Dude, cheers.
Yeah,
Congra-
cheers, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And Dave and I will be out bird hunting, so if you're a friend and you're close by, hit us up because we got dogs that want birds. So
Yeah,
we'll
definitely.
talk we'll talk to you soon. Thanks, dude.
Yep, thanks.